My name is Emmanuel Martinez, also known as Flamester in this channel. So, I was gonna make an introduction to the Bible today, but it's like almost 12, so I'm gonna be reading Proverbs. I'm gonna read Proverbs and Proverbs chapter 1 and Psalms chapter 1. I guess I can do an Ephesians chapter. No. Let's see. I was gonna do Isaiah, but probably I'll do that later. Like I could do chapter 1 to Genesis chapter 1 and Revelations. Can have, and when I'm talking about Revelations, that can be like Isaiah chapter 66. Okay. Yeah. Oh. I'll do these three. Okay. I would say Job, but yeah, I'm gonna start with Proverbs chapter 1. So this says in verse 1, the Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel. So if you want to read this one, like, what is one? The words of the preacher, the son of David. Son of David. Oh, Amos. Oh. The vision of Isaiah, the son of Amos. So, Isaiah is the son of Amos. Jonah, this one is about like Jonah in the well or the fish. But yeah, Ezekiel, I don't know. Lamentations is made from Jeremiah. But yeah. So this was made from Solomon, son of David, Solomon, and this one is like between Solomon and David. Like this, I believe they say is like Job is like between Genesis, I think, or after Genesis. Esther, yeah, they say that some of these are the writings, like Solomon, Ecclesiastes, Proverbs, Psalms, Job, and more. Well, yeah, to get some context to Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon. For context, that's somewhere between Samuel, 1st, 2nd Samuel, 1st, 2nd Kings, and 1st, 2nd Chronicles. In this next series about reading the Bible, I'm going to be going through the Old Testament, which is Genesis through Malachi, and the New Testament, which is Matthew through Revelations. Okay, but yeah, back to what I was doing. Reading Psalm chapter 1. Psalm chapter 1 is 6 verses. Psalm chapter 1. Blessed is the verse 1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. Verse 2. But his delight is the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bring forth his fruit in a season, and his leaf also shall not wither. And whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. Verse 9. The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Verse 5. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. Now I'm gonna try this again. I'm gonna read it, Psalm 1, chapter 1, again, but in singing. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doth shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. Oof. Now I'm going to read Proverbs chapter 1. This is a little long. Probably I'm going to read it multiple times. But yeah, in this run, or in this video before the introduction of all the books, I'm gonna do probably tomorrow or somewhere this week or the weekend or in next few weeks. Okay. Proverbs chapter 1. I'm reading this from the King James Version. Proverbs chapter 1. This chapter 1 has 33 verses. Chapter 1, Proverbs chapter 1, verse 1. The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel. Verse 2. To know wisdom and instruction. To know wisdom and instruction. To perceive the words of understanding. Verse 3. To receive the instruction of wisdom. Justice and judgment and equity. Equity. Verse 4. To give subtlety to the simple. To the young man, knowledge and discretion. Verse 5. A wise man will hear and will increase learning. Verse 5. A wise man will hear and will increase learning. And a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. Verse 6. To understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise. To understand a proverb. To understand a proverb and the interpretation. Verse 5 and 6. A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel. To understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark saying. Verse 7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Verse 8. My son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother. Verse 9. For they shall be an ornament of grace unto thy head, and chains about thy neck. My son. Verse 10. My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. Verse 11. If they say, come with us, let us lay wait for blood. Let us lurk privately for the innocent without cause. Verse 12. Let us swallow them up alive as the grave, and whole as those that go down into the pit. Verse 13. We shall find all precious substance. We shall fill our houses with spoil. Verse 14. Cast in thy lot among us. Let us all have one purse. Verse 14. My son, walk not thou in the way with them. My son, walk not thou in the way with them. Refrain thy foot from their path. Verse 16. For their feet run to evil, and make haste to shed blood. Verse 17. Surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird. Okay, that makes sense. Surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird. Verse 18. And they lay wait for their own blood. They lurk privately privately for their own lives. So are the ways of everyone that is greedy of gain, which taketh away the life of the owners thereof. Verse 19. So are the ways of everyone that is greedy of gain, which taketh away the life of the owners thereof. Second half. The cry of wisdom. Verse 20. Wisdom crieth without. She uttereth her voice in the streets. Verse 21. She crieth in the chief palace of the concourse, in the openings of the gates. In the city she uttereth her words, saying, How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in the scorning, and fools hate wisdom. Verse 22. How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? Will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Verse 23. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. Verse 24. Because I have called, and ye refused. I have stretched out my hand, and no man regardeth. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. Verse 25. But ye have set a naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. Verse 26. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. Verse 27. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind. When distress and anguish cometh upon you. Verse 28. Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. Verse 29. For that they hated knowledge, and did not choose the fear of the Lord. Verse 30. They would none of my counsel. They despise all my reproof. Verse 21. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own devices. Verse 32. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. Verse 32. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. Verse 33. But whoso hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from the fear of evil. Wow. I read this Wow, the second half, like verse 20 and onwards. Like, no, wait, not like the whole book, the whole chapter of Proverbs. I'm like, that's deep, man. I'm gonna feel like heart just like. Okay, so last chapter of today. So I'm gonna read. So right now I'm gonna read Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, King James Version. Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, King James Version. God. Okay. Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, King James Version. Verse 1. The words of the preacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem. Verse 2. Vanity of the vanities, saith the preacher. Vanity of vanities. All is vanity. Verse 3. What profit hath a man of all his labour which he taketh under the sun? Under the sun. Verse 4. One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever. Verse 5. The sun also riseth, and the sun goeth down, and hasteneth to his place where he arose. The sun also riseth, and the sun goeth down, and hasteth to his place where he arose. Verse 6. The wind goeth toward the south, and turneth about unto the north. It whirleth about continually, and the wind returneth again, according to his circuits. Verse 7. All the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. Unto the place from whence the rivers come, thither they return again. I'm gonna read it again. Verse 7. All the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. Unto the place from whence the rivers come, thither they return again. Verse 8. All things are full of flavor. Man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. Verse 9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. Yeah, this part. There is no new thing under the sun. Verse 10. Is there anything whereof it may be said, See, this is new. Is there anything whereof it may be said, See, this is new? It hath been already of old time, which was before us. Verse 10, 11. There is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. The vanity of knowledge. Verse 12. I, the preacher, was king over Israel and Jerusalem. Verse 13. And I gave my heart to seek and search out by wisdom concerning all things that are done under heaven. This sore travail hath God given to the sons of man, to be exercised therewith. Verse 14. I have seen all the works that are done under the sun. I have seen all the works that are done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity and vexation of spirit. Verse 15. That which is crooked cannot be made straight, and that which is wanting cannot be numbered. Verse 16. I communed with mine own heart. Verse 16. I communed with my own heart, saying, Lo, I am come to a great estate, and have gotten more wisdom than all they that have been before me in Jerusalem. Yea, my heart had great experience of wisdom and knowledge. Verse 17. And I gave my heart to wisdom. Verse 17. And I gave my heart to know wisdom, and to know madness and folly. I perceive that this is also a vexation of spirit. Verse 17. And I gave my heart to know wisdom, and to know madness and folly. I perceiveth that this is also a vexation of spirit. Verse 18. For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. So, let's see. Oh, last verse of today. I guess I'm gonna highlight this, but verse 18, Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 18. For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increases the sorrow. I think I'm gonna make like Psalms. I'm gonna put Psalms. Gonna make with Psalms, Proverbs, and Ecclesiastes together. Like, I'm gonna put these three together. The Song of Solomon. Yeah, no, that's for later. But yeah, this is gonna be interesting though. I haven't read this or studied it. But yeah, so I'm gonna be reading Psalm, Proverbs, and Ecclesiastes together. Probably I'll add Job and Song of Solomon, but probably gonna do that separately. But yeah, that was Psalm chapter 1. So I read Psalm 1 chapter out of 150 chapters. So Psalms, I read 1 out of 150, so 150 is a lot of chapters. Proverbs has 31 chapters. Ecclesiastes has 12 chapters. And they're like written between, well, King David and Solomon. But yeah, next time I'm gonna make an introduction of the Old Testament, Genesis to Malachi, and the New Testament, Matthew to Revelation. There's a lot to get through these new series I gonna do, I guess. But yeah, I hope you guys have a lovely night, evening, or morning, wherever you're watching this. And see you next time. And God bless. And Jesus. Goodbye.